Even Disney sometimes has rainy days, and this week's episode is about tips for going to Disney in the rain. This is episode 70. I'm Soraya,
I'm Aurora.
and together we're just your average Disney travelers. All right, so sometimes the weather has a mind of its own and it does its own thing no matter how much we want to have a sunny, bright, warm vacation. And especially this time of year, it's winter, and so there are going to be rainy days.
Yep.
Also in the summer, even when it's a nice, hot, humid day in Florida,
thunderstorms.
yeah, in Florida, they're pretty much daily thunderstorms there, and so with plenty of rain. So it's good to know, some things you can do to prepare for being in the rain. It doesn't have to ruin your trip. In fact, I hope it doesn't, because sometimes it's unavoidable.
And sometimes it does actually make them better.
That's true.
If you know what to do.
That's true, absolutely. All right, so some tips, though, on going to Disney in the rain. What's the first thing that can help?
Well, check the forecast before you travel.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how many times people don't think about that. I think people assume, like Southern California and Florida, it's always going to be sunny. Not so. Sometimes it is downright cold. So check and
pouring.
See. Yeah, and pouring. So check and see not just whether it's going to be rainy, but also the temperatures, because a cold rain and a hot or warm rain are very different, and you'll want to be prepared in totally different ways. But definitely if there's rain in the forecast, even if it's just 50% chance of rain, I'd say if it's 50% chance or higher, for sure, plan accordingly and pack things that will help. So things that I would suggest are either a rain jacket or a poncho. And in the past, I think in our earlier years, we leaned more towards the ponchos. I think in the later years, more recently.
I do not like ponchos because even if it's not warm outside, you're going to get all hot and sticky under.
And that's exactly why I've kind of gone away from them. Now, the ponchos are convenient in that you can get those cheap, really thin plastic ponchos for like $1, maybe a couple bucks. At Walmart or at the dollar store or places like that, really inexpensive, and they fold up. They're so small, they don't take up much room in your backpacks. And then if you don't want to hold on to them afterwards, you can just toss them, and you don't feel like you really wasted any money. They do the job, but you're right, they get hot and sticky inside. Rain jackets are more comfortable to wear, but then they're also bulkier. So I guess you kind of have to weigh which is more important to you, or what arrangements you want to make, because there's things we'll get to down on the list that might help make that decision too. Other things that we would pack are either an umbrella or maybe a waterproof hat if you don't want to wear an umbrella.
We've used to wear an umbrella.
No, if you don't want to use an umbrella.
Yeah. We've used umbrellas quite a bit.
Yeah, and more recently, when we weren't using the ponchos, we used the umbrellas and raincoats. You can, get those travel-sized ones that compact pretty well. Will help if you're worried about size. Other things, waterproof shoes. And I always say to, make sure you bring a couple pair of shoes, especially if you don't have waterproof shoes, because you're going to want to change them out and let some dry while you're the next day in the parks. But waterproof shoes and comfortable socks. If you don't have waterproof shoes, not only should you bring a couple pairs, but also you might consider bringing or having bags, like maybe gallon-sized Ziploc bags that you put, after you put on your socks, you can put bags over your feet and then put your feet in your shoes. That way, even though your shoes will get wet, your feet will not get wet.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think walking around with wet feet all day sounds really miserable to me.
I've done it before.
Yeah, not a fun thing. You can also some sandals that are comfortable for walking that get wet well are an option too. That's what I usually lean towards myself. But yeah, something comfortable that is waterproof in some way or form for your feet. Also, you'll want to think about having a rain cover for your stroller or wheelchair if you have either of those items. And then a bag or backpack to carry your stuff. This is where I was going to say we have different options, and so this might help you decide what kinds of things you're packing. You may decide you want to have a backpack. You might decide actually to use lockers to hold onto your stuff either before it starts raining or afterwards, So if you just decide not to have the disposable ponchos and you're going to have some bulky things, just make sure you have some way to stash that when you don't need them. And then another idea would be to bring a plastic bag to put wet items in if they're going into your backpack. And I already talked about the lockers. You can get most of this stuff at the parks. They do sell most of these things in the gift shops, but it's going to cost so much more.
Yes.
It's going to cost you a ton more, and you'll save money bringing what you either have from home or getting them at a lower price at home and bringing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving away from what to bring.
Yep.
This is actually at the parks. So if it's pouring, most people will go back to their hotel, and that leaves the parks with very few crowds, which is great because you got way less lines.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, if an attraction isn't very busy, and there's very few people going on it, actually, you sometimes can stay in your seat and just ride it again.
Yep, ride it over and over again, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So you will want to be aware that there are attractions that do need to close in heavy rain. So not all, but some do. Indoor attractions are going to stay open, and there definitely are some outdoors that can too. But depending on how heavy the rain is and whether there's any lightning especially, these types of outdoor attractions are possibly going to be closed. So do you want to...
Yeah.
List some that you...
So Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, and I should say, these are mostly these are Disneyland rides. We haven't really made a list of the Disney World attractions that would be closing. So
yeah,
it'd be similar attractions. So
can I go?
Yes.
So Alice in Wonderland, Davy Crockett's Explorer Canoes, Gadget's Go Coaster, the Mad Tea Party, not party. Party. No, sorry. Main Street Vehicles, Pirate's Lair on Tumser Island, Storybook. I can read. Storybook Land Canal Boats, the Golden Zephyr, Goofy's Sky School, Jumpin' Jellyfish, Luigi's Rock and Roll. Wait, no. That was the wrong ride. Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters?
That's the actual name of it. Yeah,
is that the
Luigi's Rollickin' Roller?
Not
roller. Yeah, that's the one where they dance.
Such a weird name.
Cars dance. Yeah, we just call it Luigi's because that's a lot easier to say.
Redwood. Okay. Redwood Creek Challenge Trail parades, and then sometimes fireworks, but that's more about wind than rain.
Yeah, there's so many times where the weather is perfect and it may not be windy at all down on the ground, but if there's wind up in the air, it'll keep the fireworks from going. And then on the other side of it, it might even be raining a little bit, but if it's not windy where the fireworks are going, then they can still do them. So that is not necessarily for rain, but sometimes that happens. Sometimes they do close.
Yeah.
All right, so eating when it's raining can be tricky. Especially if it's just a light rain and the park crowds have not gone down. Indoor dining areas are going to fill up fast, so you want to plan ahead. I think that a good tip, if it's kind of a rainy, drizzly day, is to plan to eat during off hours. So have a mid-morning meal instead of a breakfast or lunch, or have a late lunch, like a mid-afternoon meal. That will help because there won't be as many people there at the restaurant at that time. If it's pouring, then, still those indoor places do kind of get filled up fast, but if you don't have as many crowds, so you're not fighting as many people. The table service meals are almost always indoor or at least in covered places. But just knowing where dining spaces have covered sections is good. There's going to be plenty, though, that are not covered, or at least have very small covers, like just umbrellas or something. And so you might be wiping down seats and tables, even if it's not raining right then, if it had rained earlier. So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, sort of just like, kind of like an idea, like, if it's like raining and you're going to be wet, why not, like, go into rides that you're going to get wet? Because a lot of times, like, with Splash Mountain and Grizzly River Run, like, a lot of people are just like, like, a lot of people are not wanting to get wet because then, like, you gotta...
Yeah, you have to deal with
being wet.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna stay out when it's raining, you're gonna get wet, so...
Embrace it.
Yeah.
Totally just get wet all the way.
Yeah, just an idea.
Do all the fun wet rides.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing to keep in mind, though, is whether or not the weather is warm or not. If you've gotten wet going indoors where they have air conditioning, oh man, you're going to get cold.
Oh, yeah.
So be prepared for that. I don't know what to do about it because you can't really. Maybe just that's when you
just get a bunch of, like, hand warmers and, like, tape them to your clothes.
I don't think that's going to work.
It would work. And then you put, like, a jacket and
okay,
like, stuff
disclaimer,
over.
This is not something we've done. We are not actually suggesting that. Although if you have been wearing a rain jacket and using an umbrella and stuff, then you won't be as wet. And so hopefully, I know that some people also, especially if it's not going to be during the cold weather, if it's warm enough, they make sure to wear shorts that day because usually your upper body you can keep fairly dry with a jacket and an umbrella, but your legs still get a little wet. So if you have clothing on below, very far down your legs, that it's going to be wet when you go on those rides or indoors where there's air conditioning, you're going to feel it. If your legs are bare, then it's a little bit easier to dry off real quick as you're going inside and not be as affected.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. Okay, so we've got a list of places to escape the rain. Attractions and activities to do in the parks. And again, this is just Disneyland and California Adventure. But spots to escape the rain. So the first thing I would just make sure everyone is aware of, on Main Street, those shops that go down Main Street are all connected. So if you're just looking to duck out of the rain, go shopping down on Main Street. You don't even have to, when you're going from shop to shop, you don't even have to go back out to the walkway. You can just stay in it and go all the way down along the whole length of the street there, and you'll stay totally dry.
Another spot is Main Street Cinema. That place will play several of the old-time Mickey Mouse movies. You can also sit on the floor or just stand. Yeah,
they don't really have seats, so it's not like a theater, but they do have several of those little videos you can watch if you're in there. And also the Disneyland Story, which is a collection of Disney artifacts and memorabilia over there off of Town Square area, right at the beginning of Main Street. In that same area, yeah.
Yeah, and then great moments with Mr. Lincoln, so you can not only get out of the rain, but also take a nap.
That's how exciting Aurora thinks that attraction is.
Oh, dang, you said that you
it's
taken
true.
power naps?
It is a good spot for a power nap.
Yeah, you're the one who...
Yeah. But that theater is a theater with seats, and they are comfortable, and it's dark, and so, yeah, if you need to escape the rain, that's a good spot to go. Of course, my favorite, Pirates of the Caribbean, is all-indoor ride.
Except for the line.
Depending on how long the line is.
Yeah, that's the thing with the rides, though. Like,
some of the queues will be outdoors.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on how long the lines are, which, again, will depend a little bit on how heavy the rain is. But anyhow, yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean, and we talked about this last episode. This whole attraction last episode was our highlight, and it's a decently long ride, so it's a good little break by taking that ride.
Yes. Next up is Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, same thing.
Yep.
Where it's outdoor queue, but yeah.
Yeah, that one has a lot of the queue is outdoors.
Yeah, most of it pretty much until you get to the covered section. So, Space Mountain, which is a good amount indoor queue.
Yeah.
Some of it's outdoor, but
if you're single rider, then it is going to be completely indoor.
yeah. So that's a good one to escape the rain.
Yep. Star Tours, a bit of it, not most of it, unless it's really long, but then again, with the rain, it will probably be a little bit less. Especially with the stronger the rain is coming down.
But most of it's indoor, right?
Yeah.
The queue?
Yeah, most of it.
A good portion of it.
I think, most of it is indoor, but there is still a good portion outdoor.
Okay. But that's also not a super short attraction, isn't it? Like 7 minutes or so, maybe, the ride?
Oh, maybe. I don't know how to estimate time.
Yeah, I haven't been on it in so
really
long.
bad at it.
Oh. Okay, so another one right there in Tomorrowland is Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. Now, there is going to be usually a portion of that line outside, although if it's a short line again, maybe not, because some of it's inside. But the ride itself is inside.
And then there's short films and previews that are often shown near Space Mountain.
Yeah, we don't usually go see those. In fact, I don't know if we ever have at Disneyland.
Yeah,
but
I don't know what that is.
There's just a small theater. There used to be other, like a regular shows there, but now it's usually where they'll have just specials, whether, like it says, previews or short films shown. But check that out because that's a spot that you can go inside. Also, Small World. It's a Small World is indoors. The line is entirely outdoors, though.
Yeah.
So, but once you get on that ride, you're indoors.
And how long is that ride? It's
If I'm gonna guess, long. I'm gonna guess it's like 12 or 13 minutes, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, it's decent.
With the time.
Yep.
Oh yeah, my turn again. Snow White's Enchanted Wish.
Yep, and similarly, like really all of these, the dark rides there, the Pinocchio's Daring Journey,
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride,
Peter Pan's Flight, yeah, all of those dark rides right there in Fantasyland are good to get out. But again, a lot of the line may be, in fact, most of the lines will be somewhat outside. I think the only one that I don't ever really see riding around outside is Pinocchio's. That one doesn't usually have a very long line.
Yeah, no. Yeah, then there's the shows at the Fantasyland Theater.
Yeah, if there's, and they are supposed to be starting them up. They might have already even. I haven't even looked. But yeah, they are starting up the shows there at the Fantasyland Theater now. So that's a good place. It is outside, but it's covered. And so you have an open air, but you would be sheltered from any rain. And those tend to be really great shows. Mm-hmm. Also the Royal Theater, which is a smaller theater right near the castle, and they usually have had the Beauty and the Beast and Frozen, and they have those Entangled. They had those different cute little shows. Have not come back yet. I'm not sure exactly when. I'm hoping very soon, but that has been a good place to get out of the rain too.
Yes. Then there's the indoor princess meet and greets,
which right now are taking place where that Royal Theater is. So
yeah, so
it's that still same place covered. But when it's not there, then it's an indoor, truly indoor location.
Unless it's Rapunzel's.
Rapunzel doesn't. Yeah, Rapunzel.
Yeah.
I think she might be under a tree or under some umbrellas. So that one's not as good. But there are princess meet and greets inside in that location. All right. So Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room is a good one. Man, well, although they have a thunderstorm inside too. Whether it's sunny outside or not. But at least you're not going to get wet.
Yeah. Indiana Jones Adventure.
Yep, one of your favorites.
Yeah. There is, again, a good portion of the queue is outdoors, especially if it is a bit of a longer line, but considering how we've been able to have it took us not even 2 minutes for the most part. Okay, maybe.
Yeah,
around 2 minutes.
Usually, unless the line is long, the line is pretty much indoors.
Yeah, and that first bit was always pretty quick for us, even though we haven't been in the rain. So yeah, in the rain it would probably be.
Yeah. So
anyways,
also the Many Adventures of the Winnie the Pooh, which is a cute little ride, and also has rain in that ride, but you don't get wet.
That's true.
And you know what? I forgot to add on this. The Galaxy's Edge rides are both good. Let's see. So for sure, Smugglers Run.
Oh yeah, that one's like all indoors.
It's almost all indoors. Like there's a couple. There's some that's open air, but it's covered. And then actually, I think it all is covered.
It's all indoor.
It's all covered, even when it's got an open air.
There is no open air.
Right, when you first go in the line, because you're walking around the ship, the windows are all open.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm used to the single rider.
Yes, single rider is different.
Yeah, never mind. There is a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all covered.
And really, for the most part, Rise of the Resistance is also, now that you may have some, especially right now when the lines are long, there's going to be some outdoor queue that is not covered. But most of it, a lot of it is covered. And then during the actual attraction, even in that, there is a portion you go outside for a moment. I think it's covered. I never really thought about it because it hasn't been raining when we've gone.
Oh yeah, it's the right before the
when you're about to transport
pre-show.
Yeah, so there, but I still say that's a good spot to escape rain.
Yeah, I almost brought up Splash Mountain.
I wouldn't say Splash Mountain.
No.
Not only are you going to get wet on the ride, but also there's portions of the ride that's outside.
Wow, so are all the queues in all these rides.
I know, but we're hoping that some of those queues are short and you don't have to wait in line long, so that you're not really...
Yeah, that's why I didn't say there's two solid reasons why it wouldn't be a good option.
How about we move over to the California Adventure Park?
Yeah.
So where's the best spot, probably?
Probably the Hyperion Theater, if it is playing.
If it's playing anything. I don't know that Frozen's coming back. Yeah, you totally have. That's where Aladdin used to be. It's where Frozen, yes, before it was Frozen, it was Aladdin.
Oh, okay.
But
I don't remember seeing
I don't
Aladdin,
know if Frozen's coming back, because we have not heard anything. So I don't know what's going to be there. I don't know yet what will be coming back to the Hyperion and when. But when they have shows there, they typically are nice, long productions, probably close to an hour. So that's a great way to get away. But also the Disney's Animation Building. Lots of fun. There's so many things to do in there. In fact, you could go in there and go from spot to spot and spend a lot of time there, not just sitting and doing one thing, but getting involved with lots of different activities for quite a while. So things like...
Yeah, and it's a nice spot just to relax.
Yeah, whether it's raining or not.
Though it is heavily air conditioned.
It is. It can be really cold in there. But yeah, they've got Turtle Talk with Crush, the Animation Academy, which we love and talk about a lot. Sorcerer's Workshop, we don't talk about as much, but it's a good spot for kids to go down and explore. The lobby has couches and carpet to sit on while you're watching the videos. They have video screens, just humongous, huge video screens, and they play songs and pieces of songs showing the video. But they also have, so they'll have the video from the movies, but they also have like concept art and things like that they show, and it's really fun to check out and watch. Also in that area, there's the Anna and Elsa meet and greet, although I don't know if that's back up yet. So far, I don't think I've seen that up since COVID.
Next up, there's the Sunset Showcase Theater in Hollywoodland, where you get to see like sneak peeks of movies. Yeah,
kind of similarly to how they have over at Tomorrowland,
the short films and previews.
Yeah, so they'll have different things that rotate through there. Of course, Soarin' Around the World is a good one. Most of the queue is either covered or inside completely, and then that ride, of course, is great.
Mickey's PhilharMagic.
That's one of my favorites. I really like that one.
And that one, like, never has a wait. You just have to wait for the doors to open.
Yeah, that one's a great one. Monsters, Inc., Mike and Sully to the Rescue. A lot of that queue can be outside, but...
I don't remember the queue at all.
It depends on how long the line is. They do have some inside, and the ride is kind of short, but it's indoor.
Yep. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
Yeah, that one's definitely high on your list.
Yeah. The queue is there's a good part of it outdoors, so part of it is also covered. Sort of. There's kind of holes in the covering though, so
I think it's mostly shelter, but not really.
I think it's mostly for shade. Yeah. But it doesn't take long typically to get inside, so
yeah. All right, so Web Slingers. That one
That's
is a lot
pretty good.
outdoors.
But that's also, though, it has covering, but is it more shaded covering, like covering for shade, or is it good
Gosh,
for...
I don't know. It's a lot outdoors. There is some parts that are covered, and I think it would be good for rain. But to be honest, because we've not been in line for that while it was raining, I don't know.
I know there is a good section that's not covered at all.
Yeah, there is.
The Little Mermaid.
My favorite.
And
those lines primarily are covered. Yep. So it's a pretty good one, even if there's going to be a line.
And there's usually isn't, so...
Yeah, there's usually not. And then Toy Story Mania also, it's another one that, for the most part, I mean, you could definitely, and their lines get long there, you definitely could have some parts that are out in the rain, but there's also a lot of it that's covered. So anyhow, so there's a lot that you can do, even if it's raining. There's so many things that you can do, and like you had said, sometimes the rain it makes it even a more enjoyable time because the lines get down pretty low, the crowds are low, and as long as you don't mind that there are going to be a few things that maybe you can't do that you normally would, I think making up for it with all those short lines, it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
We have been to Disney in the rain. We've been to both Disney World and Disneyland in the rain. Sometimes, like in Disney World, usually those were the thunderstorms, summer thunderstorms that come through. But Disneyland, it's been just, time of year. You just sometimes get rainy days.
We typically get more drizzle type stuff, but we have had times where it's just pouring down.
Yeah. And like we said, we've kind of gotten to where we usually prefer a raincoat, a rain jacket, and
we actually had to go inside the store a little, to wait out a little bit.
When it started pouring?
Yeah, because it was just...
Yeah,
dropping, the clouds were just releasing everything.
Yeah, it was buckets and buckets of... Yeah. It wasn't just sprinkles. Yeah, and that'll happen. Just roll with it, know that that's going to happen. Check that forecast before you go so you can try to go prepared. But really, don't be one of those people that sits in the hotel room and doesn't experience their vacation just because it's raining. You won't melt. You will survive. Try to prepare, get as protected as you can so no one's completely miserable. You don't want to get sick. But go have fun. It can be a lot of fun, and so take advantage of those opportunities when they happen. This is really the only way you're ever going to be in the parks without any crowds. Aside from when things first opened up after COVID, because that was so unique. But other than that, this is really the only way, because the way they have these parks planned with activities and things, there are crowds every day of the year. And so this is the unique time that unexpectedly all of a sudden it just ends up, because even people who've paid for their vacation, they don't want to go out in the rain. So they just, it's sad.
Yeah.
Don't be one of those people. Take your vacation and have fun with it.
Yep.
Hopefully all of your vacation days will be sunny and warm, but in the event that they're not, hopefully some of this helps, and hopefully you can go and have a fun time. We'll chat with you next week.
See you.